Okay, so before we talk about the economy changes for Red Dead 2 Online, I want to address a recent situation that a lot of subscribers and viewers are curious and slightly worried about. I posted a video yesterday with a very hostile tone titled "Rockstar struck down my merch for what? To force me to become a shill?" And the video explained a situation that has developed over the past few days in which Rockstar has claimed that the channel's recent merchandise infringes upon their trademark and had it all suspended. I was given some advice, and it's the kind of advice you do not ignore, by the way, if you understand my meaning, that because I had not explicitly said I did not and do not intend to pursue legal action, that I had left the door open for a very difficult and damaging situation that could result in the loss of my entire channel. I would like to say before explaining any further, I do not intend to pursue legal action in any capacity, but I am also not going to silently sit back and pretend like none of this happened. I am slightly afraid that Rockstar may issue DMCA takedowns on some of my videos, which could result in the loss of the channel, but I actually feel and felt sick to my stomach pretending none of this happened. The basic chain of events is as follows. A couple of days ago, all of our recent merchandise, and I will display here on screen for you, all of the recent merchandise was suspended, and I thought it was likely an automated system response and thus no big deal. The merchandise has been active since the game launched, and the channel has garnered millions upon millions of views in that time frame. When I did finally receive a response, it said the following. "Hello, thank you so much for reaching out to Teespring today. We apologize for the trouble. Unfortunately, due to the association with the video game Red Dead, the designs were removed. If you can provide documented permission for the use of the content in question from the rights holder to the trademarks, we are happy to have our team review. Kind regards, Teespring team." This response shows me that Rockstar did in fact force take down my merchandise for being associated with Red Dead Redemption 2. And by the way, this right here goes on for pages and pages. And that in and of itself is a complex thing. This right here is one of our designs displayed on screen now. It is designed to appeal to Western genre fans, cowboy fans, and also to be something Red Dead Redemption 2 game fans might also like. But no Rockstar branding or trademark material has been used. If, in the infinitely murky legal world, this is still considered to be copyright infringement or trademark infringement for that matter, that's what they specifically said, then I will and I must accept that and learn from the experience. But I starkly defy that Rockstar has no trademark or copyright on the moon, on cowboys and their silhouettes in general, on skulls, or on dead trees. Either way, again, I have zero intention of attempting to settle this matter through litigation. This is merely something to inform the community of the goings-on. The design has been active since very early into the game's release and just now was taken down after I began more harshly criticizing the game's balancing and the microtransaction practices within Red Dead Redemption 2 Online. Upon further investigation and a simple search, Red Dead Redemption 2 designs are rampant on the platform. Some designs quite similar, with even a red moon specifically, and others that outright use the game's logo. Other designs use trademarked images or the same exact type of font, etc., and my merchandise does not use any of that, and yet it is struck down while these designs remain active on the platform with others, many more just like them. Furthermore, a simple investigation of some other popular YouTubers who play the game shows that designs such as this Outlaw Gary shirt are still active, as is this Red Moon Legacy Killa HD shirt. The sunset shown in Gary's design is indicative of, but different from, the Rockstar poster sunset, and the red moon, as seen in Legacy Killa HD's design, is very similar to our own piece as well as some other merch that's active on the Teespring site. There's a lot of similarities between a lot of these different designs, but neither of the other two has been forcibly removed or taken down. The one key difference between myself and these other two creators is that I am a bit more abrasive. I'm a bit more vocal about predatory monetization practices and a bit more outspoken regarding balancing issues. If those are indeed the factors that Rockstar has used in determining they wish to strike down my content, then I view their company to have absolutely zero integrity. This is not a cry for help, and again, I am not going to pursue in any capacity whatsoever official legal action. The amount of money I make from merchandise sales will have no bearing on my ability to support myself whatsoever. I won't end up out on the street, and my life, relatively speaking, will hardly change from any of this. That is the money that I would use to, for example, get some extra cool Christmas gifts for my family or go on a sweet day trip somewhere. Perhaps it would help build out a project for the upper echelon community, like an event, or maybe do a giveaway or something like that kind of thing. The purpose of this announcement is not to create outrage or stir up controversy, but to let the community know after my own nebulous approach to the previous video, in which I had an extremely hostile tone and quickly removed it under very strong advice. It was to let you all know that the merch will no longer be available, and there is likely nothing at all that I can do about that. Also, if my channel does somehow disappear outright or gets strikes against it, or further issues arise from this, I would like the community to know exactly why, since I will not change my tune. I will not sacrifice my moral compass when it comes to monetization techniques and shoddy balancing, and though I, again, have no intention of pursuing legal action in any capacity, I will not be intimidated into voicing opinions or praise that I do not believe in or view to be untrue. I am a firm believer in picking your battles, and this simply isn't a battle I should pick. The consequences far outweigh any possible benefits, and in the end, I consider it to be a very large learning experience on how game publishers truly work, and why I will and always should fight for the player base's interests and never the publishers or developers. I will not fight for them or advocate for them. Now that's out of the way, we can talk about things that are much more interesting, and I apologize for that whole big thing, by the way. It's been an overly dramatic situation, and I didn't make it any better by posting a provocative video previously and then removing it quickly, so I'm sorry for that, truly. Now, the Red Dead 2 online economy. Well, they have made changes, and they are larger changes than I expected, but they are also in unexpected areas. The two biggest changes is a near 50% reduction in the price of certain fish, which were one of the primary mechanisms by which players were making money up to this point, and a similar reduction to the price of weapons in the vicinity of 30, some odd 40% to most of them. The thing that has me confused is that these weren't the most important changes to make. This patch simply screams, "just pacify them" to me, and shows an utter lack of the fundamental understanding behind why the economy was uncomfortable in the first place. One of the main problems revolved around relative pricing of lootable items like tonics or crackers or jewelry. Using and buying those items felt uncomfortable because it was a massive strain on a player's bank account, and selling items that felt rare and worthwhile was often not even enough to simply get a gun oil to clean one weapon one time. The patch also adjusted mission payouts and various event rewards, but not in such a high way as to compensate for a near 50% drop to one of the most widely utilized core earning methods that players have been relying on. By the way, and still many are unable to participate comfortably. Upping the rewards of stranger missions by a moderate amount, but hamstringing the best method out there by 50% is a step in the right direction on one front and a step in the wrong direction on another. Dropping the gun prices themselves is a surface level fix that might pacify a lot of players temporarily, but when using dynamite or eating or expending ammo all take a punishingly severe toll on a player's wallet, it cuts down on their enjoyment of the vast open world and all the other activities. When you are fighting another player and the conflict goes on for even just a short time, you could be eating away dozens of dollars in supplies, on top of the camp fee, on top of the stable fee, on top of everything else I have not even considered, and the underlying issues behind why the economy is problematic still remain unaddressed. The guns were not even the singularly most important thing. It's a good change because they were terribly far outside the realm of reason, but if you are still examining this as a closed loop ecosystem, they are still woefully out of whack, and the real framework, the small items, the things you are constantly using, those remain completely broken. I have been very vocal about economic problems since the game launched, but some creators and community members take the exact opposite approach. Though, in a sense, it's a roundabout agreement by saying the economy is not broken because they can earn money easily and you run out of things to buy very quickly. Well, they mostly mean guns when they say things to buy. So with this recent bout of changes, the players that already feel the game is somewhat empty and they are easily getting all the core items they wish to have, the change cuts down on their enjoyment further by chopping the price of the things they are striving for, and making it even faster for them to acquire them, which they view as a negative. I think it's a good change personally. The weapon pricing is better, but for one group, this hurts their enjoyment, and for the other group, the ones that agree with me, weapon changes in this capacity are good, but the crux of the issue is totally unchanged, and that is the foundational items. In Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, when you do a few missions, you get enough money to buy basically as much ammo as you need to get some armor or whatever else, and you don't have enough to grab the crazy stuff like helicopters or armored vehicles from just a couple of missions, but you get more than enough to participate in open world PvP comfortably for a decently long period of time. In Red Dead Redemption 2, that is not the case. You could do multiple missions and barely be able to afford a couple of healing items and be able to clean a couple of guns, which could then deteriorate insanely fast, requiring more funds, and those consumables are gone in a split second during one gunfight. The changes are a sort of step in the right direction, but it feels more like a clear attempt at shutting the player base up more than anything else. One thing I will say is it is extremely positive to retroactively award players who purchase the price inflated guns with the difference in cost post patch. That's very, very cool, and it's what they're doing. And they are also awarding players a flat sum of money and some gold bars for participating in the beta thus far. Cool again, but all of this feels like a band-aid on a bullet hole. You can say it's overly negative or unforgiving of me to hold these views, but the truth of the matter is the changes they have made do little to address the actual lasting problems and are more aimed at a temporary surface level gripe that most players have probably voiced in their feedback. 10 minutes of open world PvP with your posse should not cost you upwards of 10 times the amount of money that you make from a similar span grinding for funds. The argument could be made that it doesn't if you don't use consumables or a gun type that has less frequently lootable ammunition, maybe some Molotovs or dynamite or who knows what else. If your horse does not die and you don't have to expend a reviver or pay $4 at the stable, there are always ways in which you can play the game and not cost yourself an idiotically balanced amount of funds just to do so. But I ask you, why are all of these things even in the game then if it's so tedious to use and enjoy them for economic reasons? Having some items hold value and make you consider carefully when to use them is a good thing. Having most or nearly all of the items in the entire game feel that way is flat out uncomfortable. It might not be an issue if there were more activities to earn with, more things to do, and more farming methods to discover, but we need to be giving feedback on what the game is, not what it might be in the future. I hope they can further improve the economy, who knows, and some of the things so far are good and will win them a lot of favor with the player base. But I remain unconvinced, and not just because they targeted my merchandise, but because they are doing a shoddy job of crafting a cohesive in-game world economy. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We have a new partnership for upper echelon merch, jackets and jerseys you will be able to get with your own custom gamer tag, by the way, and your own chosen number. That's opening soon, so Rockstar trying to fire off a warning shot at me and hurt my channel doesn't really do anything and isn't going to have much of an effect. I'll keep everyone posted as all of that finalizes. As always, thank you for watching. Check out the links down below in order to support or get more involved with upper echelon, and have a nice night.